Hi, my name is Allison, and I'm going to show you how to do a custom block in AutoPilot using some block designs and not edge-to-edge designs. So right now, the last video I showed you how to zoom in using your scroll bars and the magnifying glass. This video, I'm going to show you how to use the main zoom magnifying glass. You want to click on that up here in the top right corner until it turns green, and then as long as you click in the center, it's going to zoom in for you right to the center of the screen. I like my zone to kind of fill my screen so I can see what I'm doing without going outside of that zone. So first we're going to do an on-point block. I have a couple of block patterns loaded over on my pattern pad, and the first block I'm going to show you is the AutoPilot method. The second block I'll show you is the Navigator method. I like to use push pins when I do custom blocks. So what I'm going to do is I have an 8-inch block on point on my quilt. I'm going to set my sew head on the first block, set a push pin, set it on the second block, set a push pin, set it on the third corner, set a push pin, and the fourth corner. Now I'm going to go into the push pin options. I'm going to connect my push pin so I can see where my block sits and click accept. You'll notice that my block may not be perfectly square, and you may get this in reality as well when you're doing a quilt for someone or your own, depending on your piecing skills. So the block I'm going to use is called Betty's Feathers, and you'll see that it comes in much larger than what it should be. The first method I'm going to use to size it is going to be the keypad. I know that the block is 8-inch block. I measured it before I started, so I'm just going to hit 8 here and click OK. You'll notice that maintain ratio is checked, so it's going to automatically put the width at 8 inches as well. Preview it to see it. That looks good. I'm going to click accept. Now you'll also notice that my block is square and my actual fabric is on point. So I'm going to need to rotate that block. So on point is going to be a 45-degree angle, and click accept. Now you'll notice when I move this over into the block that my block is slightly tilted, and I might need to size this down just a bit so it fits. So let's go ahead and size it again. Let's size it to 7.5. Preview it and accept it. Shrunk it quite a bit. The other method we can use to size it is to eyeball it, do it ourselves. So you're going to hit reset, click mouse, and you're just going to estimate this out about the right size. That looks good. Click accept. Now you'll notice when it's in the block, my block in reality is a little bit skewed. Now that could be because I loaded my top slightly crooked. For whatever reason though, we want to make this fit. So we're going to go back into rotate, and we're just going to nudge it till it looks about right, and click accept. Then just kind of center it in place. Now I like to go back and DQ everything, because it's going to take your push pin lines and accept those as a pattern. So you want to make sure that those are DQ'd as well as your pattern. Now click accept, only click your pattern, and click start to run the design. So what I'm going to do now is let's import this block again as a square, and over here to the right I'm going to delete what I did before so there's no confusion. Now I'm going to take my sew head, and I'm going to show you that I have a block that's not on point, and this is the Navigator method. Here's my block. You'll see my crosshairs moving on the screen. This is where my block is located, and again, it's an 8-inch block. So I'm going to have to rely a little bit more on the keypad version this time when I do my sizing. I'm going to reset. I'm going to select keypad, and the height is going to be 8 inches. Since we saw that it was a little bit big the last time, let's do 7 3/4. Preview that. Looks good. Now I want to be able to grab this so I can put it. You'll notice that the start point is down in the lower left corner. I'm going to click the grab pattern button and put that on the tip of my sew head crosshairs. Now I'm going to take my crosshairs, I'm going to move my sew head so that my needle's down on that front corner where the triangle is for my start point to make them match. So let's drop the pattern, and now you'll see that it's let go. My crosshairs are going to come out to the left. Now I want to check the pattern. Let me zoom in here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my block with my sew head, and I'm going to put my needle right on the outer edge about the middle of the line. Now the pattern is slightly over the edge of that line, so I'm going to give it a little nudge till it looks like it's centered in that block. Then I'm going to go across in the middle and check the other side. I have a little bit more room to go there, so I'm going to give this just a little bit more nudge to the right. Now I'm going to check my top seam on my quilt. I'm going to move my sew head up to the top. That looks like it has room. I'm kind of checking where it is on the screen. Now I'm going to bring my sew head down to the bottom seam. I have a little bit of overlap there, so I'm going to nudge this back up to get it on the seam, and then go back up and check the top again. And there, it's centered in my block now. That's the Navigator method for setting a block and then checking it to make sure that it's definitely inside the block based on your seams. You can also use the rotate feature if you need to, or you can nudge it just a little bit if it doesn't seem centered. Now if you have a block, let's delete this. If you have a block that doesn't, let's import this one, that doesn't start out in the center, this block starts in the center instead of starting down in the corner. So when you go to grab it, you're going to have to make sure that you just kind of guess where it goes. So you notice it's a little bit off to the left of the center of the block. So you're just going to kind of drag it around till you think it's about right. Let it go, plop it down right there, and then go ahead and check your seams again using your sew head with your crosshairs to make sure that you've estimated it about in the right spot on all four sides.